The wombat is a somewhat chubby-looking Australian marsupial which lives in burrows and scampers about forest floors and scrublands, looking for grasses and tree roots to eat. Primarily a nocturnal animal, it will emerge from its burrow, walk a loop of about a mile, foraging, and return to the safety of its tunnels. Here the animal can keep cool during the summer heat, and use its thick rump to block predators from attacking more vulnerable parts of its body. There are 3 living species of wombat. The common wombat grows to an average of 39 inches and weighs about 57 pounds. The northern hairy-nosed wombat is exceedingly rare, with only about 315 individuals estimated to have been alive in 2020. This is the largest living wombat, which can exceed 39 inches in length and weigh over 70 pounds. The third species is the southern hairy-nosed wombat, which average 57 pounds and are about 36 inches in length. So a very large wombat would be 39 inches or about a metre long and weighs 77 pounds or 35 kilograms. What therefore are we to make of a news item in the Mount Alexander Mail newspaper's edition of the 20th of May, 1867? It is a single paragraph amongst some short snippets, mostly dealing with crime and items of local interest. It reads as follows. A wombat, measuring within an inch of 6 feet and weighing a little over 300 pounds, was killed by a kangaroo dog near Woods Point the other day. The owner of the dog intends preserving the wombat and forwarding it to England as a present to the British Museum. Could a wombat this size have been living in Victoria in 1867? Several newspapers repeated the story word for word, but no additional information was given. While no living species of wombat is supposed to be anywhere near as large as this one, there are 3 known extinct species of giant wombat. The smallest of these is called Cedophascolemys and could attain a length of 4 foot 11 inches, or 1.5 metres, and a weight of 220 pounds, or 100 kilograms. The largest known wombat is Phascolodus gigas, which, like Cedophascolemys, is thought to have died out around 40,000 years ago. This animal was at least 2 to 3 times as large as modern wombats. Estimates of its weight vary from 550 pounds to nearly 800 pounds, or 250 to 350 kilograms. It is speculated it could have grown to the size of a cow. Ramsea magna lived 80,000 years ago and isn't as well studied as the other giant wombats, with only 2 specimens having been found thus far, but it was thought to be about the size of a sheep. But what if it wasn't a wombat at all in 1867? The Diprotodon was another large megafaunal animal which went extinct about 40,000 years ago. Although not a wombat, it and the koala are the closest relatives to wombats. Similar marsupials were ambulator, marsupial tapirs, and zygomaturus. Male diprotodons could grow to lengths of 13 feet, or 4 metres, and weigh 7,700 pounds, or 3,500 kilograms, well in excess of the alleged giant wombat of 1867. Zygomaturus were 8 foot, or 2.5 metres long, and weighed 1,100 to 1,500 pounds, or 500 to 700 kilograms. They're the last known surviving megafauna, believed to have died out as recently as 33,000 years ago. If the story of the big wombat at Woods Point is true, and the measurements are accurate, then could it have been the last survivor of a remnant species of giant wombat, or diprotodontid? And if such an animal on the fringe of scientific knowledge and the gloomy verge of extinction was occasionally glimpsed by people, could it have given rise to tales of the mythical bunyip, or maybe even other legendary animals? A search for a reported lion stalking Gippsfield, Victoria in February 1934 resulted in the capture of a large wombat, 3 feet in length and said to be the size of a large dog. The animal was injured struggling with dogs when captured and was sent to the Melbourne Zoo. According to the zoo director, it was the biggest wombat he had ever seen, with massive feet, and he presumed it to be quite old. Sadly, the wombat died at the zoo on the 20th of February, only 2 weeks after its arrival. Although large, it was not beyond the size range of other wombats, and pales beside the 1867 report. Oddly, in June 1867 at Bridgewater, Victoria, a woman named Mrs. Holmes was attacked by a large wombat, said to be the size of a sheep, which knocked her down for no known reason. Her injuries kept her in bed for a few days afterwards. Maybe 1867 was just a very good year for very large wombats. Did the wombat's remains ever reach the British Museum? If so, maybe the answer to the mystery is laying forgotten in the back of a storeroom, waiting to be rediscovered one day.